Okay, welcome back. This video is going to be geared towards the men out there. Women, feel free to watch along. I'm sure it'll be valuable too, but I'm going to be speaking most directly to the men, the guys. And before I start, I'm going to tell a little story. When I was, say 9 or 10 years old, I think, I was in Boy Scouts. We were in the church, the field outside the church where it was being held, doing the things the Boy Scouts do, right? We're pushing each other and knocking each other down and playing tag and all that. And we were running around at one point and I fell down hard. And a friend of mine noticed. He's like, came running over to me. He's like, "Hey, Tim, are you okay?" And I did the thing the boys do. I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Dust myself off, pick myself up. And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he said something to me that I honestly, 30 years later, never forgot. He said, "Oh yeah, you never cry." And this is probably one of the more pivotal moments in my life. Because in that moment, I felt really proud that my friend had noticed me, that I don't cry, that I'm tough, that I'm strong. And this is how a lot of boys get socialized into thinking that men don't have feelings. Big boys don't cry. Men are tough and they're strong and they don't get emotional. Emotions are for women and for girls, and men don't let their feelings show, and really emotions and being all emotional makes men weak. Bullshit. I want to put a really clear and hard stop to this idea that being emotional and having feelings makes men weak, or that we're not supposed to be doing these things and feeling emotions, and that's women's work. It's not true. We, as men, have every right to feel everything going on as much as women do. We've been taught throughout the years all of these lies, to be honest, about how men comport themselves, and you have to be tough and hold it in and be strong for your family and let them do all the breaking down, but you have to hold the strong pole. And while that may be true, that's part of a masculine role, it is a lie that means you can't feel all of the emotions that are actually going on. Now, I'll grant you, men and women do feel emotions differently. A female friend of mine several years ago was telling me that she had this big rash all over her face, and she went to the doctor and they prescribed her some steroids, basically testosterone. And she was on it for a couple of weeks and she said, "Oh my God, I can't believe, this is so easy. You guys have it so easy." She was amazed at how much the volume of her emotional reality was just turned down. And I'll grant that men and women are different in that way, that the emotional reality for women is a much larger part of their life than it is for men. But to say that men don't have emotions or shouldn't express them or feel them, it's not true. We have all of the same emotions that everybody else does: anger, fear, sadness, joy, gratitude, awe. If we're not feeling these things, then we're missing out on life. It is to our great detriment as men that we tamp down all of our emotions. All right, in a minute I'll talk about 5 of the most, in my opinion, the most important things that we get from a rich emotional world. But I just want to say that we are allowed all of the emotions that the rest of the world is. And to say that we can't have them or we shouldn't be feeling these and it makes men weak is a lie. And I want to put that to rest. Here's my top 5 reasons, right? Number 1, emotions make us human. Emotions are what makes humans human. If we deny our emotions, we are denying a very large aspect of our humanity. We're not robots. We're not animals. And one of the major reasons for this is because we are impacted and affected emotionally by the world. And that's okay. There's not only nothing wrong with it, it's great. Number 2, women like it. Despite what you may have heard, despite what your mom said, despite what your girlfriend said, in general, women like being around men who have some sense of emotional awareness and attunement. it not only it makes us more trustworthy, it makes us better partners. They feel like they can actually show up fully. And the more fully a woman can show up in a relationship, the more fully she will give herself to you. It's really goes hand in hand with the amount that she can feel like she's welcome. And if you don't welcome a woman's emotions, she won't be welcome. And if you don't understand your own emotions, you can't really welcome hers as much. So that's number 2. Women actually like guys with emotional range. Number 3, you take control of your life. Whether we like it or not, we have emotions. They're all happening inside of us. A lot of times we've disowned them. We don't know that they're there. We don't recognize them. We don't know what it's all about, but they're still happening. And we're sort of trained that we're allowed to have a couple of emotions. We're allowed to be angry as men. That's fine. We're allowed to have pride in our work or in our son, something like that. That's fine. We're allowed to grieve if our mother dies, as long as we do it quietly in private. That's okay for a little while. But all of these things that happen inside, all of this anger and grief and pride and jealousy and excitement, enthusiasm, all of that is happening whether we acknowledge it or not. And if we don't acknowledge it, then it is subtly influencing our life, and it is making us do things and change the way that we act and react to people and to situations. And so by having this emotional awareness, understanding what's going on here in that feeling realm, it means we're no longer being subtly manipulated by things that we're not aware of. We become aware of them, and therefore we take more control over them. And so if you want to take control over your life, one great way to do it is to understand the forces that are controlling your life, i.e. these emotions. That's number 3. Number 4 is that people make more sense. A lot of people just go around life looking at everybody else and thinking, what are you, just stupid or incompetent, or what's going on? And I can tell you, the more you get in touch with your own emotional realms and worlds, the more you look at other people and say, yeah, I get that. I still don't agree. I still don't think that's right. I still like you, or whatever it is. But people start to make more sense, and situations start to make more sense when you, once you have developed your own emotional world, then you can in turn look at the outside world with more empathy. Everything makes more sense. Life is a little bit easier to deal with and less frustrating. And finally, and this is definitely the most important thing in my mind, when I started developing a more rich emotional world, my entire life got more vibrant. It's like somebody turned into Technicolor, the whole world around me. It's having a full emotional life, honestly, it makes your life more full, more memorable. It makes your life more invigorating, more worthwhile, more gratifying. All of these things actually happen because we turn off the robot self of got to go to work, got to provide for my family, got to take care of these things. And it gives us more life inside of our life. I don't really know how else to put it. It's like everything is just a little bit richer in your entire world. And for me, that alone is enough to go through this rather challenging terrain, I'll be honest. Going into emotions and getting into the emotional world, it's not easy. This is one of the bravest, most courageous things you might ever do. And so I don't want to sugarcoat this. This is a gauntlet I'm throwing down. This is a real challenge to begin to delve into your emotional life, understand what's going on, to name it, to talk about it with somebody else. These are very challenging things. They're scary. People don't want to do it. And I'm going to say, man up. I'm going to use this, right? Man up. Do something really hard and really challenging. And that's get in touch with all of your emotional realms and share them with somebody else. Probably the most difficult thing you might ever do in your life. Maybe the most gratifying as well. Please let me know what you think about this. Am I crazy? Is this a great idea? Try it. Have you tried it? If so, do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave some notes in the comments below. and have a wonderful week.